Welcome to the Saturday AM Scramble. I'm the host, Lucian Graves, here with my buddy Mike. We're going to get into some top 25 football today, and we're going to get you guys out of here because my team plays it early today, so I got to get ready for that. Mike, how you doing this week?
I'm doing awesome, man. It's we had some fall weather. Now it's a little more summery right now, but I think we're going to get back to the fall weather in about another week. So I would rather it be fallish weather, but that's my only complaint. I'm feeling great. I'm excited for a huge day of football today. And it's going to be, and my team plays in the late game. So I got all day to be nervous about that. So that'll keep me, I'll be especially on edge watching football, knowing that we're playing at 9:30 tonight.
Yeah, see, I'm like the exact opposite. We play like the first off the rip, basically,
right
at 11 a.m. So we'll get that out of the way. But last night, let's start with last night's game. Since just touch on it, what did you think of about that blowout? Is that what you expected, pretty much?
Yeah, I predicted Indiana was going to score 70 points, and they scored 73. Here's the thing. Indiana State are the Sycamores, and they might as well have been Sycamores out there with how slow they were compared to, they don't have Indiana State is a bad FCS team. That said, Indiana played really well. They did exactly what you wanted to do. They dominated the game from start to finish. And if you know Kurt Signetti, he's not one for calling off the dogs. He's going to keep scoring. He's not gonna feel bad for you at any point. He's not that kind of coach.
No, that's what I like his fire, and that's some of the things I like about him.
Yeah, he looked so pissed at halftime. It was so funny. At halftime, he looked so upset, and I was just like, dude, you're up like 35-0 or whatever it was.
I mean, greatness is never satisfied. And,
yep. Exactly.
He comes from a long lineage of people that used to cuss people out 50 and 60 points. So if there's mistakes being made on the field, you got to correct them. If you want to be great, that is. Yeah.
I mean, he did come up under Saban, so he's got that same kind of mentality.
Yeah, he's got that old school ass, chew your ass out. I like that. Might be why I like him. He's a fiery type of guy. I don't like boring coaches that you can't relate to players. If they can't relate to the players, they can't affect what they're doing. I think if you can't affect what a player's doing or reach them on either level, you probably shouldn't be coaching. No. At least in the upper leagues, you could coach. Maybe somewhere out west, some of those lower D1 schools,
or you could go back to UCLA and coach under Deshaun Foster because they apparently can't do anything.
Hey, all I'm saying is the Lobos have been upsetting teams the last couple years.
For real? Jason Eck's a good coach too, clearly, but that was embarrassing last night. So good for Indiana for winning big, but UCLA is not just the worst team in the Big Ten; they're probably the worst power conference team in the country. They're right up there. Them or Stanford, Stanford, or, there's a couple in that category. But
I thought I looked at that wrong when I first read it this morning. I was like, there ain't no way. And I'm like, wow.
I watched it, man. They were running at will. I mean, UCLA looked lost on defensively. And on offense.
That was at home too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And on offense, they can't block anybody. So it's bad. It's bad in Los Angeles for the Bruins. But no, to go back to Indiana looked really good, man. The big test is next week. Next week, Indiana plays Illinois. Two ranked teams, two undefeated teams.
Top-ranked teams.
Yeah. Illinois is number 9 in the country. Indiana's 22, but Illinois is 9.
No, I'm saying by next week.
Oh, by next week, yeah. It'll
be a top 15 matchup.
Absolutely could be. Top 10 versus top 20 for sure. So that'll be that's the thing is Indiana has played really well, but they haven't played anybody yet. So we're going to find out a lot about them next week against the Illini. And I'm excited about that. I've had that game circled since January as like one of the biggest. That one in September and also Penn State, Oregon are to me the two biggest Big Ten games in September this year.
Well, next week we're going to have you do a special on that one since it's going to be a top matchup.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Before we go any further, we're going to add the third member to the panel, my main man E. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, man? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. I don't know why on my end it's not showing me popped up on the on the screen.
Wait, hold on. That might be the layout.
There
we
okay.
go.
I wasn't sure if I hit something wrong or not. No, how's it going,
No,
guys? I'm okay over here.
That's what's up, brother. We're just getting into the top matchups right now. Actually, we haven't even started yet. We were just talking about last night's Indiana blowout and the UCLA debacle that happened last night.
Yeah, all I can say is what I've been saying. I don't know if I said it last time I was on here, but the whole Nico thing, the exit from Tennessee, it's going to be something that's looked back on a case study of how not to handle NIL.
Yeah,
like
cautionary tale
in every way.
Yeah.
And it's like every way that you could possibly mishandle this kid's career, the people that are advising him have done that.
Oh, without a doubt. And the kid's actually talented. Like,
He's
he actually
wildly
has
talented.
talent.
Yeah.
But I mean, any quarterback that doesn't have an offensive line is gonna get killed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and it's a deeper problem too, because I don't know how you know how many like recruits and stuff you guys have talked to, but over on the Maize Madman channel, we've had a lot of recruits come on, and not just recruits, kids agents or sometimes they don't go by agents. They more help the kids transition, but they're there advising the kids, right? There's a lot of people that should not be doing that are in this game. There's a lot of kids that are getting really bad advice from people, from high school to college, and I know it's his dad and his uncle or whoever, but
yeah,
they're not doing right.
It was his dad and uncle, from what we were all told on one of my Zoom calls. So, but it is what it is. Sometimes it happens like that. So,
I think.
dive.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna say the Big Ten needs to stop hiring first-time head coaches. You can't cut your teeth in the Big Ten. You need to already know what you're doing. If you're gonna coach in the Big Ten or the SEC at this point, I don't think you can hire a first-time head coach. I think it's a mistake. Like, Ryan Day is the exception. I understand that, but like everybody else who's tried to do it, it hasn't gone very well.
I would say depending on what program you come from.
Yeah.
Because like if you come from like a Dan Land, like some of these guys,
yes,
Kirby, they never were head coaches before, but they had experience in coaching, which gave them a better background. But
right.
I mean, I totally agree with you that if you have never been a head coach, it's probably not a good idea unless you have an elite defensive mind or an elite offensive mind. You're probably not going to work out as a head coach, especially at the D1 level.
Yeah, you got to learn those lessons at a lower level. That's one of the reasons a guy like Curt Cignetti is so good now, because he spent so many years at the, working up the lower levels of football,
Right. So, fellas, let's dive right in. First game up, number 4 Oregon at Northwestern. What do you guys got? That's up in Big Ten country.
I mean, I'll say that Northwestern has a decent defensive line. They truly do. Their cornerbacks are supposed to be good too, but they haven't been so far. Very good. They need to limit mistakes. Preston Stone threw, a couple weeks ago against Tulane, threw like 4 picks. And the big problem for Northwestern is Cam Porter, the running back. He was the focal point of that offense. He's their best offensive player, and now he's out for the year again. And if you follow the Big Ten, this is about the 3rd time Cam Porter's had this happen to him. So you just feel for the guy. But he was the guy that made that Northwestern offense go. And without him, against Oregon, the best defensive line in the Big Ten, it's going to be a bloodbath, man. It's going to be really rough for the Cats.
Yeah, it'll be a slightly more competitive game than the Ohio State Grambling game last week.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern at least has a defensive line. They do.
But do they have a stadium now? Line. They still don't have a stadium, I don't think.
They don't. I know. We're playing them at Wrigley Field this year. They play at a temporary fixture on the lake that seats like 1,500 people or something, or 2,000 people only.
Yeah,
it's like a fake stadium until their real stadium opens next year.
And so they're playing half of their schedule at like Wrigley Field, because we play them there as well.
Yeah, they're playing basically the games that they think are going to have more people show up. They put at Wrigley Field. So
That makes sense.
I mean, I guess so. It's rough to not have a stadium, but they'll have a new stadium next year that their students can
I
continue
will say,
to not
like,
go to.
their temporary stadium is actually kind of cool.
Oh, it's
if
super,
you look at it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a really like unique like location.
Yes.
But it's
right on the
really
lake.
small. It's super small.
I'm getting ready for a punter to snap hook one into the lake. Like it's gonna happen this season at some point. There's gonna be a big wind coming off, and it's just gonna
Wonder if there's like a prop bet for that somewhere.
I don't know. I'm not a gambler myself, but that would be funny. So yeah, Northwestern, Preston Stone played better last week against bad competition, but I am not a believer in Preston Stone. If Preston Stone was any good, then Kevin Jennings wouldn't have beaten him out at SMU.
Right.
That's how I feel about where Northwestern's at quarterback wise. And David Braun, man, I think I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I think he did a good job when he had Pat Fitzgerald's players, but once he had to build his own staff and build his own team, he wasn't up for it. Again,
right.
First time head coach. And I get that they had to hire him because he was the interim and he won 8 games. So they didn't really have a choice. But once again, first time head coach in the Big Ten doesn't usually go very well.
That's really wow. That's really what their field looks like right by the water like that.
Right by the water. Yeah. Crazy wind.
Wow.
All the time.
It's kind of cool and unique, but it's like really small.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely very. There's like 2. I mean, what you would call grandstands, I guess.
Yeah.
And then there's some visiting seating.
I'm pretty sure there are Texas high schools with bigger stadiums.
Way bigger.
Oh yeah.
Way bigger stadiums. Yeah. I mean, Northwestern though, nobody goes to their games anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. You know, it's the only team. James Franklin said that to get his team ready for Northwestern, they stopped playing music at practice and told everyone they had to be quiet so that they could get what it would be like to play at Northwestern.
Yeah, they're effectively the Vanderbilt of the Big Ten.
Yes.
I don't know. Vanderbilt's pretty good.
Vanderbilt's competitive now, though.
Vanderbilt has a good year or two once every decade and a half.
Yeah,
Clark. They ain't been this athletic in 50 years. I'll tell you.
No. They were decently good during when James Franklin was there, and then prior to that, the Jay Cutler years. It's like every. Yeah.
No, I said it's like
maybe.
James Franklin won 9 games twice in a row at Vandy.
Right.
2 years in a row.
It never happens more than 2 years in a row, and then it'll be another decade before it happens.
Yeah.
And listen, I know people that work at Vandy. I lived in Tennessee for a long time. I'm not trying to throw shade. Like, even they will tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And Dante Moore, before we move on, I just want to say Dante Moore looks like the real deal at quarterback for Oregon. I mean, absolutely. I think Oregon is ranked 4th in the country. They probably deserve to be ranked 2 or 3, in my opinion, based on what they've done so far.
Yeah, candidly, they were my pick to win the Big Ten preseason. So,
well, it's looking like a good pick now. My pick, Penn State, is looking a little shakier right now.
I learned a long time ago not to believe in James Franklin.
You know, I hear what you're saying. He's gotten better at making in-game decisions in recent years. He's not as bad as he used to be.
I feel like James Franklin. I'm sorry.
Let's table this James Franklin talk till we get to the Penn State game.
Yes,
that is coming up. That is coming up. So let's touch on a few of these other ones before we get into that.
Yep.
Let's do this Clemson Georgia Tech game. I think this is probably one of the more interesting games of the early schedule. And I'm taking Tech. They have some serious momentum right now. Their quarterback, I think, is probably one of the toughest SOBs in the entire country, and they're at home. And Clemson is really not looking like the Clemson I originally thought they were going to look like, especially on the back end of their defense. Their defensive line is looking strong-ish, but their secondary has kind of been a letdown, and their linebackers don't look tough. And against Georgia Tech and how they run the football, that's not going to work out for Clemson, because I watched that Georgia Tech offense suck up quarters last year, just in them just pounding the ball over and over and over again. And Clemson's on upset alert for me, because I think the Yellow Jackets can go get them. What y'all think?
I'll be honest, I haven't got to watch the Yellow Jackets games yet. I've only seen like the reviews, so I haven't got to see them actually for myself. I can tell you that I am, as far as Clemson, I thought they were going to be a title contender coming into the season, and I have not been impressed by anything I've seen from them. So, but I'll be honest, I don't know enough about Georgia Tech to really be able to give a lot of insight here, other than I'm not high on Clemson right now.
Yeah, my issue with Clemson is why can't they run the ball? Like the way they recruit, there's no way they should be having as hard a time running the ball as they are right now. That's just a mystery to me. And like you said, that's not good because they're relying on hitting pass plays. Well, Georgia Tech is going to pound you for 4 quarters. And Haynes King, they have really good talent at running back. You know, he's a dual threat. They've got some players, you know, at wideout who I think can do some things. Stockton, Patterson, Rutherford. Like, yeah, I think this is a game where Clemson, if they are a national title contender, like everybody spent all offseason saying they were, they have to win this game. They have to win this game. You cannot drop to 0-2 because even if you win the next 10 games, it's going to be a tough battle.
This is an ACC game too. It's a conference game.
Yes.
They open conference play because if they open conference play 0-1, the way Miami's playing right now, and Florida State for that matter,
I think
this is a make or break game.
This is a Dabo circle the wagons and find Jesus kind of game.
Do you think there's any, like, okay, if you had to put odds on it right now, how do you think Clemson could be this year's Florida State?
No. 2-10? No. Clemson's
but I mean,
their D-line, they're too talented to drop off a cliff like that. And they also have, unlike Florida State kind of quit trying last year because they had a bunch of mercenary transfer types, Dabo is all homegrown talent that he's had in his program, you know, out of high school pretty much. They have very few transfers. So I just don't think they're going to quit on Dabo. Like, his teams have never really been about quitting. But I do think they have to win this game today somehow. And I'm with you, Lucian. I worry because, again, you know, the way Georgia Tech runs the ball, the fact that Clemson can't run the ball, like, that's a bad, you know, they're going to, you know, Cade Klubnik has to really show up and play better than he's played so far if they're going to, you know, win and make this look good.
So just kind of looking at Clemson's schedule the rest of the year, I kind of agree with what Eric's saying about the being the Florida State of the ACC, because they might not drop that many games, but they can definitely take some on the chin because they got to play South Carolina. They go to South Carolina. I don't like them in that matchup. I don't like them against Florida State, especially the way Florida State's been playing.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, a lot of these matchups, they're not favorable. Clemson plays a lot of these interesting games on the road.
Louisville's always tough. Jeff, big game,
they got to
Brom.
go to Louisville.
Yeah.
And then they got South Carolina to end the season. That's, I mean, if Dabo drops this one, it could be a long season to be a Clemson Tiger.
Yeah, no, I think this is must win for Dabo. And, you know, Georgia Tech's playing with house money, and that's a dangerous team to play against, you know?
Exactly, especially when they're at home. They're a great team on the road. They do a good job of blocking out that noise with that triple option run game that they like to do sometimes. But when they're at home, man, it's just different. Like that coach, what he's been able to get those players to do, and how that tough that defense can play sometimes, and how Clemson is, like you said, is having an inability to run the football. I mean, I like Georgia Tech, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a good feel in this game, but I am leaning Tech. I'm definitely rooting for Tech because, you know, it's an underdog situation for sure. And I like the way they play football. I like their physical nature. You know, I have fun. I always kind of liked Georgia Tech. I liked when Paul Johnson was there running the triple option. I still remember when he I can't remember who he beat in the bowl game when he came off the field and was like, "We whipped the SEC." But yeah, Georgia Tech under their coach now, who's such a good coach, they damn near beat Georgia last year. So
they did.
They're on the rise. They could. It wouldn't surprise me if they took down Clemson today. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you talked me into it. I mean, like I said, I haven't really gotten to see Georgia Tech yet, but if they're rolling like you're saying they are, then I've been talked into it. I would pick against Clemson today.
Haynes King is a tough. Like if you just look at the kid, you're not going to think he's a quarterback at all. But once he gets on the field, some of the stuff that he does, I'm just like, dude, it's kind of like corrective like recklessness the way he gets down, but it works. And about the best way I could describe it, guys.
Yeah, he's definitely got he's like a poor man's Tim Tebow. Right. I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I remember watching Haynes King last year. I mean, he was actually fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dynamic player.
I just haven't got to see him this year yet.
And I'm kind of mad I'm not going to be able to watch him today because Bama plays at noon too. But moving right along, we got number 13, Oklahoma at Temple. Mike, been meaning to talk to you about this Oklahoma team because remember we said this is a huge year for Venables. So what do you got on this game?
I mean, Venables showed it to me when he shut Michigan down last week. You know, Bryce Underwood went 9 for 24. They had him seeing ghosts out there. He had no idea what to do, and they looked really impressive. You know, I think the offense is still not great, but to be fair, Michigan has a really good defense. So the offense can get better, but that defense for Oklahoma looks like a vintage, championship level kind of defense. And that's exciting because I know that's what, when you hire Brent Venables, that's what you expect. You expect to play lights out defense. And holding Michigan to 13 points, I was really impressed last week. So, this is Temple's 2-0. They're playing pretty well, but this is not Matt Rule's Temple. I don't think they have a big upset in them like that. I think Oklahoma, rolls easily here.
Yeah, I don't think that Temple really has a shot in this game. I'm actually kind of surprised because I know that they played Temple last year. And when is the last time that an SEC team did a home and home with a school like Temple?
Yeah.
That surprised me a little bit, but not to take anything away from Brent Venables. I think his defense really showed up. I think there's a lot going on in that game, and I'm sure we'll get into that when we talk about the Michigan game later. But that was going on from the other side that really did not. I don't think we saw the best version of either team last weekend. And my biggest concern with Oklahoma is if they're going to play John Mateer like that all year, I don't see him holding up over the course of an SEC schedule. But week 3 at Temple, he'll be just fine. He'll dominate them again, just like he did last week and the week before.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's got this one just because from a physical standpoint, they'll be able just to put. I'm not taking anything away from Temple. I think they'll be competitive for a while at least. But I think in the long run, I think Oklahoma takes this. I think they take it by 2 or 3 touchdowns, especially if Mater can actually take care of the football. He's been known to throw some ill-advised interceptions. So, but you never know. This is college football. If he gets throwing interception happy and that I think that it's not a tough place to play, but it's not an easy place to play on the road. So if those fans get into it, it could give them some energy. You never know.
I will say
I gotta run for just 1 minute, but I'll be back in like 3 minutes.
You're good, brother.
All right, cool. I'll see you in a minute.
I will say one of my biggest concerns with Oklahoma, and this is talking to a few Oklahoma fans that I know, actually just last night, their run game appears to be in serious trouble. They expected Jaden Ott to come in through the transfer portal and be this like all-conference running back to add that level of threat behind Mateer, and so far he has not lived up to that. Their other running backs, Barnes and I can't remember the other guy's name, but they just haven't looked good. I know a couple weeks ago I was on a panel over at Really Flawed Football, and I was assured by two Oklahoma, one Oklahoma, one guy, actually an Alabama guy, but they both assured me that when I asked about Jay not being listed at 3rd on the depth chart week 1, they were like, "Oh, that's just a week 1 thing. Venables does that in week 1 every year with the guys that make it through camp healthy. They're just saving him for week 2." But Ott wasn't really a factor in the Michigan game. Their entire run game basically came from Mateer.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up the stats of the game. Why would an Alabama fan say why would an Alabama guy say? I'm wondering why he said that.
No, he was just telling us, like, I guess because he's like really big into the recruiting and transfer portal, so I guess I don't know, he has relationships with a lot of recruits, and I guess he had some insight on Jaden Ott specifically.
He was not on my radar in the transfer portal as far as working out high, so like to see where he got that info.
Yeah,
but I don't think Oklahoma's in trouble at all. Okay, so the next game on the docket would be Wisconsin visiting my Alabama Crimson Tide. Now we know Luke Fickell's going to have that defense pumped up, jacked up, ready to go. They definitely got some transfers in that can affect the quarterback, especially on that defensive line. They got a lot of linebackers that make a lot of plays in space. Just by some of the film I've watched on them, they do have a good pass rusher. I know. I think he's a transfer in. I forget where he was from.
I'd have to look it up.
But I got it on my notes from Tuesday show, I think. But they got a quarter. They've been able to get the quarterback down 8 times this season. So the fact that they have 8 sacks in the first 2 games kind of says something, especially that Alabama fans might want to pay attention to, because we do have an inability sometimes, especially with our tackles, to kind of protect the quarterback coming off the edge. We're very stout coming up the middle. Teams mostly where they get the most pressure off us is coming either off the right tackle or the left tackle. Last game, Ron Grubb did a better job on scheming the tight end. I mean, it was University of Louisiana Monroe, and Wisconsin's going to be a whole different animal because they actually got a defense that's going to be able to stop the run. And I think that's something that Alabama's going to have to focus on, is winning that line of scrimmage again on both sides of the football. Because on the offensive side, Wisconsin's got I think it's not their starter that they thought was going to be their starter, but their backup, but he's done a great job. He's been known to get a little interception happy in the past of his career, but I think we're going to handle this one. I don't think we're going to have too big of a problem, especially going down. I think with our depth and getting Ryan Williams back, being able to scheme him back into what we've already been able to build with Ty Simpson, I think we'll be successful in what they're going to try to do today.
Yeah, I think Wisconsin's going to come in with a lot of pressure because they do not have an easy schedule, even in conference this year. And so this game, if they lose it, can really sort of start a snowball effect for them if they're not careful. And I don't think they're going to come out of this year with a good record. I do like a lot of their team. I'm not a fan of their quarterback. Billy Edwards came from Maryland last year, was one of the worst offenses in the Big Ten last year. We almost had him transfer into Michigan. I'm glad we didn't. But there was a moment where it seemed like he was coming to Michigan. I'm not a fan of his, and I just don't think he's got the arm to really compete with Alabama.
He's hurt.
Oh, he's hurt?
It's O'Neal.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize he was hurt.
Yeah, he hasn't really played all season, really. The sophomore Danny O'Neal's been having he came from San Diego State University.
Oh, he was the other transfer they got in, right?
Yeah. So that's who we're going to be playing.
I haven't watched a ton of tape on him, but I mean, did he beat Billy Edwards out before Edwards got injured, or?
I'm not sure. I didn't get that deep in my research. I think it might have happened in camp, and then the Edwards kid got hurt because he's taken most of the snaps for the season. I mean, Edwards has only attempted 12 passes this season, so it's been mostly that Danny O'Neal kid.
I didn't realize that. I apologize for not being up to date on that part. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, that even reinforces even more for me that I don't think that they have the firepower. I think they'll come out very ready for the game to start, but I don't see them being able to hang with Alabama over the course of the game.
Now, if we can actually figure out how to get a pass rush, it's going to be a short night for Wisconsin. But if for some reason that we can't get that quarterback on the ground, I mean, you saw what happened against Florida State. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we'll be able to do a little bit more job control in the line of scrimmage just because of the matchups. And I think too the secondary, our secondary is not going to let them do anything down the field. So I'm not too worried about it. Mike, what you got on this game? Bama versus Wisconsin.
This is a big game for Luke Fickell. Things have not gone as planned in Madison. You know, he went just 5-7 last year and has a losing record through 2 years, or had a losing record going into this year through 2 years. Wisconsin wants to run the ball and play defense. That's what they want to do. They don't want to have to throw it. They want to line up, pound you, and shorten the game, score on long drives, and keep your offense off the field. That's what they want to do. They've had a hard time executing that so far. So the question to me is whether or not Wisconsin can run the ball. If Wisconsin can run the ball, this is a game. This is a game. This could be competitive. But if Alabama is lackadaisical like they were against Florida State, Wisconsin could run the ball and keep this close for a while. I do think they could make this interesting. But that's not what I'm predicting is going to happen. I think Alabama's pissed off about the Florida State game. I think Kalen DeBoer knows he's coaching for his job here and that this is a game he cannot afford to drop if he's going to remain the head coach at Alabama. So I expect the Tide to come out and play really aggressively and try to, put 8 guys in the box and sort of dare Wisconsin to throw the ball and see how that goes.
Well, I know we're not going to put 8 in the box because trust me.
You're not?
We put 8 in the box. No, we haven't done that. And trust me, I want them to put a 4th down lineman in there and they won't do
it. Interesting.
Trust me. The Kane Womack's 4-2-5 scheme. The way it breaks down is there's 3 D linemen and the 4th one is technically an outside linebacker rushing the quarterback type.
Sure.
The problem is with the defense, we haven't had the Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne type of bodies in the middle to be able to run that type of defense and still get pressure while having an outside pass rusher, which we haven't had the last 2 seasons. So that's why the defense sometimes struggles with the run, regardless of whether Tim Keenan or we're healthy or not. It depends on, it's really the scheme. I think he's doing a better job of, now that he knows that we don't have the road graders that we used to, or the road graders aren't old enough, aren't experienced enough to get the playing time that they need to. I still don't think that they're going to be able to running the ball between the tackles against us is just not a good idea. And I don't think that I don't think their running backs are going to be tough enough down the line to keep pounding the ball against us. I don't think they have good running back depth either.
I don't think they have. Their running backs have been really underwhelming, surprisingly. If Wisconsin is a school, you expect them to have elite running backs all the time. But under Luke Fickell, they haven't. And I don't know if it's Jones or Dupree, but somebody's one of those guys has to show that he's a legit feature back in the Big Ten. And we haven't seen it yet.
Mike, let me ask you.
Their second leading running back's a wide receiver.
Because you pointed out how Luke Fickell doesn't have he has a losing record so far at Wisconsin.
Well, now he has a winning record because of this season, but like going into this year.
But that's what I'm saying. Like if you look at their schedule this season, they don't have an easy schedule.
No, they have they have the toughest schedule in the Big Ten, probably.
Right. So I've been saying since the offseason that I don't think they're getting very many wins this season. I think this season they have a losing record as well. And I'm curious, do you think Luke Fickell returns next year if they don't have a good year this year? Or do you think
if they go 5-7 or better, I think if they go 5-7 or better, he comes back because they don't want to pay that buyout. It's a huge buyout.
Do you see more than 4 wins on their record or on their schedule? Excuse me.
I predicted them in the preseason to go 5-7.
Okay.
Because I think they beat I think they beat Maryland, and I gave them an upset over Iowa. But yeah, the rest of those games, they're not going to be favored in any after Maryland, who they play next week. They're not going to be favored in a single conference game going forward all year. Right. You know, because the games that they might have a chance to be favored in or that are close are on the road. And the games at home are the juggernaut. I mean, listen to what they have after Maryland. They go at Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, at Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, Illinois, at Minnesota. So there are a bunch of ranked teams in there. There are rivalry games in there. It's a gauntlet. The Badgers will be a desperate team today.
I could see them potentially upsetting Iowa. I have not been impressed with Gronowski.
No, and that shocks me because Gronowski was amazing at South Dakota State.
Right.
I mean, when I watched South Dakota State, he looked like the real deal. I was upset when Iowa got him, but he's not processing fast enough.
Right.
Like he's not going through his reads enough. He looks like a young quarterback out there who doesn't know how to get off one read and go to the next one. And he's not a young quarterback. He's like a 5th or 6th year guy.
Right.
But Kirk Ferentz ruins quarterbacks. And I mean, they haven't had a quarterback since Nathan Stanley. That was 6 years ago.
I mean, you saw what happened when our guy transferred there a few years ago. And after leading us to Big Ten championship and beating Ohio State, goes to Iowa and does nothing. Now he's the backup at East Tennessee.
Cade McNamara won the Big Ten. Talk about a weird career he's had.
Right.
I mean, he won the Big Ten, and then everything went downhill from there for him.
Eric.
But he got paid very well at Iowa. I'll give him that. So good for that. Him there.
Hey, what's up?
Your game's up next.
Okay.
Central Michigan at number 23 Michigan. What do you know?
I mean, it's Central Michigan.
Right.
That's actually my, like, when I was a kid growing up in Michigan, I lived like 20 minutes from Central Michigan Stadium. At times I've lived less than 2 blocks from the stadium. I do personally have a soft spot for CMU. They're not going to be good this year. They have a couple good players that I like, but they're running like a 3-quarterback system. It's not good. They're not gonna win this game against Michigan. There's no way they're going into Ann Arbor and getting a win. That said, I can go a little bit deeper into what Michigan's facing and what I want to see from them based on last week, if you want me to, but I don't want to sidetrack too much.
No, it's Michigan, brother. It's your topic. Let's go with it.
Okay, so like I said earlier when we talked about Oklahoma last week, the problems with Michigan. So a couple different layers to it. And I don't want to misconstrue this. There's not a divide on the coaching staff. There's not any division between them. But there seems to be an issue where there's some people, some of the coaches are not on the same page. A lot of the stuff that Chip Lindsey was brought in to do and he installed in the offseason, we have not seen yet this year. A lot of it, from what I understand, is being vetoed by Sharon Moore. And I feel like a lot of our fan base was really down on Wink Martindale and the defense after the Oklahoma game. But when I went back and watched it, what I saw was a lot of the offense not putting the defense in very good positions. And when you really break it down with what you see on the offense, the things that you were seeing from Chip Lindsey were the side to side, the bubble screens, the horizontal run game. You weren't seeing a lot of the anything else that he implemented in the offseason. So we're running Justice Haynes, which you know very well. He's an elusive runner, but he's not a side to side runner. He's got that north to south between the tackles style of elusive runner. And we were trying to run him on the edge against Venable's defense. On top of that, I feel like what they're doing is they're I'm not explaining this very well, and I'm sorry. I feel like Sharon is coaching scared that he's going to get Bryce Underwood hurt. I don't think he has a lot of confidence in the quarterbacks that are behind Bryce Underwood, because it was the same situation when we had JJ. JJ wanted to run all the time, and Sharon and Jim wouldn't let him run because they didn't have confidence in the quarterbacks behind him. We saw last year for good reason, right? And that's fine when you've got a veteran team that can get out ahead of their opponent and just squeeze them until the end of the game and not let them come back. When you're rebuilding from as bare of a cupboard as Sharon Moore started with coming in after Jim left, you just don't have the talent on the team to play like that. You brought in Bryce for a reason. You brought in Chip Lindsey for a reason, and now you're not letting them play. So what I want to see, especially because we're not going to have Sharon Moore for the next 2 weeks, Biff Poggi is going to be stepping up as the interim head coach. What I'm hoping that I see is a lot of the stuff that Sharon has been vetoing on the field during the games. We get to see that a little bit, and I hope that with this game with CMU, because it's a game where we can make mistakes, I'm hoping they tell Bryce, look, we're going to call the plays, and we want you to play smart, throw it away if you need to, slide, play smart, don't get hurt, but go out there and just play ball. Give us a reason to trust your instincts out there, and let him show us what he can do. And I really hope that that's what we see. I'm hoping we see a resurgence from Jordan Marshall, who's supposed to be the second part of the backfield with Justice Haynes. Unfortunately, our third back, Micah Kapana, had a little bit of an injury and had to have a minor surgery. He will be back this season, but we don't have him for this game. So I really am looking for Jordan Marshall to step up. We also, in the Oklahoma game on the defensive side, we put Sanders out there, freshman quarterback or cornerback, and he held his own pretty decently well against Oklahoma. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of that from him in this game. Shamari Earls, another true freshman that we had hoped to see contribute this year, had an unfortunate injury in warmups before week 1, so we haven't got to see him. He should be back this week. Optimistic that we could see Rod Moore and Marlon Klein back in the rotation this week. I don't think either one's going to start, but I do think we'll see them get on the field a little bit. At least everything I'm hearing, it's optimistic about it. But yeah, I just want to see the coaches get on the same page. I want to see them let Bryce play his game. I want to see him let Chip call his plays. Because if it's close, then I think that's bad for the rest of our season. I think we need to get some momentum going into Nebraska next week.
Right on. Mike, you want anything to add on that, or?
I mean, that's a pretty in-depth preview. All I'm going to say is Dan Lefevre isn't walking through that door for Central Michigan.
Listen, I don't think Labus is bad. I actually am pretty high on their quarterback Flores, who I think is a freshman or redshirt freshman. I actually think he's decently dynamic. I just don't think they know what they're doing with their quarterbacks right now.
Yeah.
Fair
No,
enough.
Michigan's going to roll. I don't have anything to add, really.
All
It's
right,
a good get-right game.
Right. Moving right along. South Alabama at number 24, Auburn. Auburn's going to win this. South Alabama is a very tough-nosed team. They got a solid defense. They like to fly to the football, but offensively, they're just not there yet.
Were they able to replace Gio?
I'm not sure.
I know that was a big loss for them.
Yeah. I doubt it. I haven't heard that they did, so but yeah, I got Auburn rolling in this one big.
How's the Auburn team looking, their offense? Because I had a lot of questions when I heard that they were going to have that 3 quarterback, 3 offensive play caller rotation, depending on down and distance. I was very skeptical about that working. How have they looked?
So I haven't watched them live yet. I don't think. I mean, they're going to be competitive. Their problem's going to lie. They're going to get into problems with their defense. Their offense shouldn't have too many problems scoring, except when they go up against the better defenses of the SEC. I mean, they were in a dogfight last week with Baylor, so it's or the week 1 that was. But I haven't really watched them. I know that Hugh's still really adamant about using multiple quarterbacks. So we'll see how that pans out. We're not going to know anything about Auburn really until they get into SEC play. Right. Now, next week when they go to Oklahoma, that's when we'll actually get to see what Auburn's made of. Because then once we get into SEC play, it's all hats off for most of the teams anyway.
Yeah, give love to South Alabama, though. They were very close to knocking Tulane off last week, and Tulane is a very good team. So this is a legitimate challenge for Auburn. I mean, Auburn's going to roll in this game, but like South Alabama's they're gonna come to play. Auburn's going to have to earn it.
If South Alabama had a more skilled players on offense, some more I think this would be a way different conversation because they are very stout on defense. I think that 3 quarterback system is not going to give them problems. I actually think that 3 quarterback system might actually play into South Alabama's hands a little bit more because they do a lot of rotating. And if you're rotating quarterbacks in and out, they can just keep rotating through their defensive alignment. So
I'll tell you what I wouldn't give to have Cam Coleman though.
Yeah.
I'd love to give Bryce a weapon like Coleman.
Oh, in your case, absolutely. He needs a freaking wide receiver. Dude ain't got nobody to throw the ball to, really.
I was interviewed by over at Really Flood Football about prior to the season. She asked me if I could have one player from any team in the country added to Michigan's roster for this year, who would it be? And I said Cam Coleman.
I mean, he is a beast. The next game up, Louisiana Raging Cajuns versus the Missouri Tigers. That's going to be an interesting game to me. Missouri has not looked as I was led to believe they've looked, and Louisiana is a scrappy team. So I want to say Missouri, but the Raging Cajuns have always been a competitive team. They always put athletes on the field. I think that's going to be a good matchup for Missouri. At least for the first 2 quarters. I think eventually Missouri's defense will outlast that Louisiana offensive line and be able to get some turnovers later in the game. But I don't think this is going to be an easy game for Missouri by any means.
Yeah, I think this is just another example of when the SEC needs a quarterback, they go to the Big Ten. Because Bo Pribula looks really good.
Right.
He looks good.
You're saying you're not really high on Missouri, but I mean, their offense has been pretty good so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, super good.
I mean, defensively.
Yeah, fair.
Defensively, what they were, because that Missouri's was one of the teams that everybody said was going to have one of the top defenses in the country, and that's what I was getting at. That they weren't living up to their
because they
on
gave
that
up
side of
31
football.
points to Kansas. Yeah, which was not great.
No, and Kansas is not good.
And so, if I'm understanding right, Louisiana is a defense-led team. So this will
More
be strength
so.
on strength.
It'll be interesting. Yeah,
It'll be one I want to watch. Them.
It's definitely going to be a good matchup for a while. I think Missouri with their offense, but then again, if they lay an egg on defense, I think Missouri will win eventually, but I think it'll be a close game for a while.
So, but you don't think they'll cover you don't think they'll cover the spread then? Looks like they're 27.5 point favorites.
I don't think they're covering that. Not unless Louisiana's got an injury I don't know about. No, I don't think they're covering that.
So, based on what I just looked up real quick, Louisiana's quarterback Howard is out with a knee injury.
Oh, yeah, then never mind.
That'll change things.
Yeah, that changes everything. I did not know their quarterback was out. Yeah, so
I'm trying to see if it shows who's gonna start in his place, but I can't. It's not showing me here.
What, you don't have Louisiana's or you don't have their depth chart memorized?
No.
Beal would be the next guy up.
Yeah, I don't know anything about
Daniel Beal. He's a true freshman from Louisiana.
Ooh, a true freshman. Okay, I'm willing to bet we see Mizzou's defensive rank go up after this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have. They just don't have enough, especially with their starting quarterback. You're not about to tell me a true freshman's going to go out there and lead the greatest upset in NCAA football history by beating Missouri on his first start. No, I mean the kid might be good, but if he was good, he probably wouldn't be at Missouri. That's all I'm saying. Or Louisiana, not even Missouri, Louisiana.
I was gonna say a lot of good players go to Missouri.
Hey, I mean, maybe he can transfer to Iowa next year.
That's the other thing. Ferentz can't develop a quarterback anymore. It's passed him by.
All right. Moving into the afternoon games, we got Villanova at number 2, Penn State. Your guys' favorite school to talk about.
I forgot that Villanova had a football team again.
This would be a really good basketball game.
Absolutely,
a very, very competitive hoops game, but in football, I don't think so much. Look, Drew Aller and those receivers have to be a little more in sync, especially on the longer down the field kind of stuff. My big worry about Drew Aller going into this year is that he's a great quarterback in a lot of ways, high completion percentage, makes pretty good decisions, all that kind of stuff. He has got to hit those deep balls at a higher clip. And that's going to open things up in the run game. That's going to open up the offense a lot. He and those new receivers, and they've got new decent receivers, they have to show that because they were a little sluggish last week. You know, they ended up winning 34-0, but it was a slow first half, and they did not break off a bunch of explosive offensive plays. So Drew Aller's got to throw the ball a little better downfield, I think, and they have to make plays. His receivers got to make plays for him, and they got to show Penn State's got to show they can be explosive, not just efficient.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Penn State has not adjusted to the fact that they no longer have Tyler Warren to be their do-it-all weapon on offense. I feel like Aller's still struggling to find the rhythm with his new receiving core. Yeah,
which is fair. And you know, they have the 3 guys, our top receivers are all transfers, so there's going to be some growing pains there. But it's week 3 now. We need to see a little progress. We need to see that get to tighten up because next week is Oregon, and Oregon looks amazing. So
And see, what I
if
was
Penn
going to
State's
say
going to
this.
win that game, then they have to play better today to be so that they're on the path to be ready to play with Oregon next week.
And listen, maybe I'm a little bit biased at James Franklin. When I lived in Nashville when he was there at Vanderbilt, I just didn't like the guy, right? But
Fair.
I feel like Penn State is the only team in the Big Ten right now where it's like I feel like their coordinators are a bigger plus to the team than the head coach.
Well, they do have the two most expensive coordinators in the country. So
I mean, I would take Kotelnicki or
Knowles.
Knowles. Thank you,
Yes.
Jim Knowles. I would take them in a heartbeat
Yes.
before I would take James Franklin onto my school staff.
Yeah. Well, it was good of James Franklin to hire those guys. And, when you hire those guys and get everybody to come back, they got all their guys who could have gone in the NFL to come back this year and paid them and whatever. Like, they're all in. They got to make this work. And I think if they're going to have a shot to win a national title, I think they have to beat Oregon next week.
It's like my question is, can he get out of their way to let them do what they do?
Yeah.
It's
fair. It's a fair question.
All right. So you guys got obviously Penn State rolling in that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, this next game's a big one. This means
Yes.
a lot in the SEC. Number 6 Georgia at number 15 Tennessee. What do you guys got? We might have to get into a little bit of rapid fire. We're almost running out of time here.
Yeah,
These
I mean,
mini
it's
games.
historically the Tennessee offense has not worked against Georgia. The veer and shoot or whatever they want to call it has not worked against Georgia. They've been able to shut it down. Is it different this year though? Now Joey Aguilar seems like a better fit with Tennessee so far, at least, than Nico was. He can actually push the ball down the field a little bit with accuracy. So is this the day that Tennessee breaks through and can finally score on Georgia? Or is it another thing where Georgia is just going to say, nope, that offense doesn't work against us, and they're going to dominate? I'm really interested to see, because this is a really big game. Both teams are wildly talented. Both teams have great defenses. Can the Tennessee offense finally work against Georgia? And they've made some changes. Their wide receiver splits, they're not all like they were always do the old school Baylor thing, the Bryles thing, and go all the way to the sidelines. They're lining up with more traditional wide receiver splits this year. They're changing the offense and some of the looks they're giving. And I wonder if that's because teams like Georgia were having so much success against them, if they felt like they had to tweak it to beat a Georgia. So I'm fascinated to see what happens in this one.
Yeah, I do think that this. I've been pleasantly surprised by Aguilar. A lot of people thought that it was going to be a downgrade from Nico to him, and I don't think it is. If anything, it's a little bit of an upgrade, at least for that offense. And I also am not personally very high on Gunnar Stockton based on what I've seen. I need to see more from him. So I would, as it sits right now, I would take Tennessee in the upset. I think it'll be a close game either way, one touchdown or less. But I think Tennessee's going to get the upset.
I think I'm with you, to be honest. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that, and I could look like an idiot when Georgia wins this one 31-10.
Right.
But I feel like if Tennessee, if not now, when? If they're not going to beat Georgia now, are they ever going to beat Georgia again? While Kirby Smart's there. So the stars are aligning. I agree. Gunnar Stockton is not the best, and Georgia brought in a lot of receivers, but they aren't all necessarily good. They brought in. So, and they're not developing their own receivers for whatever reason. So yeah, maybe Tennessee can do it today. That'd be really exciting if they did.
Now, I understand what you guys are both saying, but they won a national championship with a guy that was in college for like a decade. So basically what I'm saying is I'm not so sure it has a lot to do with the quarterback if Georgia wins this game, because I personally think Kirby's gonna line it up and smash it down Tennessee's throat for 4 quarters, and Tennessee's not going to be able to do anything about it. And I mean, Kirby's the best defensive coach in football, and the fact that people haven't had time to see what his new defensive splits are or his new defensive techniques are, I think that's going to play worse against Tennessee than it is going to Georgia. Because if you got film on Georgia, you can be able to figure out how to technically beat them. But if you don't have film on what they've been doing, and they haven't even shown a lot the first couple weeks, I just think that Georgia wins. I think Nate Frazier is one of the best running backs in the country. That kid's tough. It's gonna be hard-nosed sledding, but I'm going the Bulldogs on this one, guys. I hate Tennessee.
I mean, you're probably right.
It'll be fun to revisit this one next week.
I would take a lot of schools over Tennessee. I wouldn't care.
All right, but let me ask you a question though. Which of the two teams do you think has a better chance of beating your Crimson Tide this year?
See, that's up in the air because we're mentally in Georgia's head, and I think the anger from Tennessee beating us last year is going to drive us in the game against them. I'd probably more say Georgia.
Okay.
Just because we haven't been to Athens in a long time, and I think that's going to be a rough environment.
You think Kirby can finally get over the Alabama hump?
I think. Oh, he did. He did. He beat us in the SEC championship game and the national championship. So he's beaten Alabama.
It still seems like he has that problem though.
Well, it's
almost a little Ryan Day-ish with Michigan. Sometimes watching him, even still with Alabama.
Well, we're going to get a week off, so I can have some time to I'll have a better answer for you next week. But yeah, I'm gonna do some work on that one for you. But we got to move right along here because we're running out of T to the IME.
Gotcha.
Oregon State versus Texas Tech. I don't think this is going to be a game.
Oregon State's
wins
bad.
This one.
Yeah. Oregon State's giving up 35 points a game.
That's not. I thought Malik Murphy would be a little bit better there, but
yeah. All right, so Iowa State at Arkansas State. I don't really see that being too much of a game.
No,
either.
Iowa State runs away with that.
No, Iowa State looks good. They won the Cy-Hawks, so they're in good shape now to make a college football playoff run. They beat Kansas State. They won the Cy-Hawk last week against Iowa. Iowa State is in a good position to make a run for that Big 12 title.
I like their team this year. I like Iowa State.
I was surprised. I thought they would have a harder time replacing those two wide receivers, but so far, so good.
All right. UTEP at number 7, Texas.
Do you deserve to be in the top 10 if you have a loss through 2 games? The top 10, Texas, really? I know.
Well, I think it's because of who they lost to.
I know, but it bothers me when teams are ranked in the top 5 or 10 with a loss this early in the season. I'm just you can rank them higher later after they win some games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, Texas is still great. Texas is amazing. I'm sure they're going to win by 65 points today, but I have a pet peeve about seeing teams with losses in the top 10 this early in the year. It bothers me.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think that Texas, just like we're going to do our thing with CMU, I think Texas is going to do the same thing with UTEP.
Oh, they're going to do whatever they want. This game's going to be over in a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, I do like Malachi Nelson. I think he's the best quarterback UTEP's had in a long time, but
yeah. All right, let's get into a big one then. South Florida at Miami.
The biggest game ever on the CW network.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, this is a huge game for real.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they can do it? They can do it again. Can they sweep the Florida Miami matchups?
No, I think they have Miami's attention after beating Florida.
I don't think Miami's going to be as sloppy as Florida was in that game.
No, I don't think this game is going to be that competitive. I actually think Miami is going to run away with it. But South Florida is in position. It's either them or Tulane for that right now in the pole position for the Group of 5 playoff spot. Tulane has a big one against Duke today, I believe. So it'll be interesting to see, if USF somehow wins today, if they win today, put them in the top 10. Absolutely.
I'm actually high on. I'm very high on you. I'm high on South Florida. They
Yeah.
almost beat us 2 years in a row. They have at this point that defensive line, that defensive front is probably one of the strongest in America. They got two of the best linebackers I've seen this year cover sideline to sideline, and their DBs are not going to shy away. They're not young guys. They're not young kids out there. It's a very veteran defense. I think they might give Miami some problems. And honestly, I don't think Miami is built to hit a 235-pound quarterback for 4 quarters in that defense.
Interesting. Okay.
That'll be
I
fun
don't
to
know.
watch then.
I feel like Miami, they jacked our defensive coordinator and he's really good. So I expect Miami. They've been better on defense, and I think they'll still be continue to be better.
They've been better against normal quarterbacks. This dude is 235 pounds, and
Fair.
hitting him, their linebackers aren't 230. They're about 220, 225. So hitting him and their safeties hitting him. If they lose, and they got that transfer from is it Tennessee? I think they got a Tennessee kid on USF, their offense. And
you talking about the receiver?
Yeah.
Squirrel White?
No, he's on Florida State.
Oh, okay. I knew he transferred down to a Florida school.
There's another receiver they got from Tennessee that has been doing some things downfield. So I think it's going to be actually a very physical, competitive game. I mean, especially if Miami can't corral that quarterback, it's going to be a long night for him.
I mean, I hope you're right. I just feel like this is the kind of game where Mario's like, I'm going to pound you into oblivion thing actually works. But
you're talking about Nimrod.
Yeah. Hey, but the thing you also have to understand is this isn't like these South Florida athletes are different. Like,
no, I know.
They're different.
These are power conference level players.
Yeah, there's no difference in skill or speed. So that's what I mean. And if we're going on attitude edge, I'm giving it to South Florida right now because they've been kicking people's tails. Even if they don't beat you, they physically make you feel it. Trust me. We played them last season and the season before, and they physically put us through the ringer.
Okay,
and that's when we had some dudes.
And they have a great coach too. I mean, their coaches
exactly.
Like
their
the real deal.
Using UFC math here, if USF beats Miami, can we then count USF as the G5 team to upset Notre Dame this year?
I like that. Transitive property.
Yeah, exactly. I just had to get a dig in at Notre Dame.
I hope I hope South Florida makes the playoffs and they make that a matchup.
That would be great.
I would love that shit. First round, South Florida takes out Notre Dame.
First round, that would end up being at Notre Dame too. That would be great.
Oh, I'd buy a shirt. I'd buy a Southern Bowl shirt and wear it. All right. Moving on along. Now that we've got that big game out of the way. Ohio State and Ohio, that's not going to be a game.
Nope, not at all.
I will say Ohio beat West Virginia last week, and they were this close to beating Rutgers in week 1. This close. So if Ohio had beaten Rutgers, then this would be a bigger game because they would be in contention for the group of 5 spot in the playoff. But since they lost to them, they're not.
The bigger
team, though. Really good MAC team.
The thing that I would be most interested in seeing if I tune into that game is if the Bobcat mascot attacks Brutus again. He does it every year. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Western Michigan versus Illinois. Illinois is probably going to beat the shit out of them.
Western Michigan's got a few good players, but not enough to keep up with Illinois.
PJ Fleck's not walking through that door. Western Michigan fans, unfortunately. So, yeah, no, you don't have a chance. Illinois is playing amazing ball right now. They look fantastic. They ran Duke off the field at their place last week. Before the season, I picked Illinois to go 10-2 and make the playoff. I'm feeling good about that pick where they sit right now.
All right. Arkansas at number 17, Ole Miss.
I don't think Lane Kiffin loses this one at home.
No.
And
I
I'm
got
not
Ole
a
Miss.
huge Lane Kiffin fan. I just don't think he loses this game.
Probably not, but Talon Green is a player for Arkansas. He's
In
good.
the video game, he's a cheat code.
Yeah. but in real life, he looks good this year. I mean, 561 yards passing, 10 TDs, 2 picks, 72% of his passes completing. So he looks, I know they haven't played anybody really yet, but he still looks good. And I think this will be a competitive game. But I'm with you. I don't think this is the kind of game Lane Kiffin loses.
Yeah.
I think they score too many points ultimately for Arkansas.
All right, next up on the night games, we got Florida at LSU. I think the Gators are dog water right now. I think they're in serious trouble, and I think they're going to get mauled tonight. What do y'all think?
I think it's possible that if the rest of the team actually stops effing around, that Lagway's ceiling is high enough that he could potentially step up and win the game. But I don't think it's likely. I think LSU does come away with the win here.
LSU's been really impressive this year. I mean, they have to beat Clemson the way they did at their place in week 1.
Yep.
They just look like a team that's ready to go. Look, DJ Lagway has to play better. And Billy Napier has to make better in-game decisions. I don't know. I think this is going to be tough for Florida. I really like what LSU is doing. It seems like they've got a lot of momentum, and they're really, that what Brian Kelly envisioned when he got to LSU, it seems like this year it's finally coming to fruition a little bit. And I hate saying that because Brian Kelly's a bad person, and I want him to lose every game.
Agreed.
But
yeah.
But I am picking them to beat Florida today.
I agree on that one.
But look, if DJ Lagway does play, if he goes off, they could win. Florida could definitely win this game. But I just don't think they're gonna.
You're right. If they could. If Clemson is actually like what we were saying Clemson is, and LSU is not as impressive as they are, and Florida somehow rewinds the clock back to the early 2000s and figures out how to play football again, they might come out with that dub. I don't think it's going to happen. So we're going to roll right on into another game that's going to piss Mike off because it's number 8 Notre Dame, who's 0-1, versus Texas A&M, who's ranked 16th.
Yeah.
What do you guys got?
This one's at home, right, for Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how I can back this up, but my gut feeling tells me that Notre Dame wins this one at home.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. It's like I know Texas A&M looks pretty good. I know Marcel Reed has maybe made some progress, but I just think the more desperate team is sometimes the better team. And I don't think A&M needs this game the way Notre Dame needs this game because they don't play anybody else tough all year. So if Notre Dame loses to Miami and A&M, can they really, even if they go 10-2, can they really make a good case for the college football playoff? I don't think so. I think they need to have a big win on their resume, and this is their chance to get a big win. So my head is saying A&M, but my gut says that Notre Dame finds a way to win this.
That's a better way of putting what I'm feeling too.
It's gonna be competitive though. Should be a great game.
I'm gonna take A&M this year because Notre Dame went to their house last year and got them. I think A&M returns the favor in a big way, and Notre Dame gets smacked early in the face with 0-2 for the first time. I don't know. I'd have to look that up, but Notre Dame starting the season 0-2 would just absolutely be fabulous to me.
Oh, that would make me so happy. I despise Notre Dame.
I hope I'm wrong on this and you're right.
I thought I had an Irish fan on Twitter this week say that the only schools that can talk trash to them are Ohio State and I forgot the other one. And everyone was like, what about NIU?
It wasn't his name wasn't Dallas fan, was it?
Yeah, or is it Miami and Ohio State? That's what he said. And I was like, I responded. I was like, actually, the whole college football world despises Notre Dame. So we are going to all talk trash whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, I think that's the one school besides Clemson everybody hates.
Yeah, nobody likes Notre Dame unless you're Catholic, and that's your thing, you know.
Right. I mean, I don't have any Notre Dame friends that are Notre Dame fans, so
No, me either.
at least close friends, that is.
Not anymore.
So,
I did have one once.
I did too, but
he's no longer with us, unfortunately.
So we got a interesting matchup. Vanderbilt at number 11, South Carolina. Ooh, I like this one.
It's a good game.
Man,
I really think this is Diego Pavia time, right? South Carolina looks a little shaky.
One second, because I just remembered something. Rewind back to the last game. Here's an asterisk. Texas A&M does have one of the best linebackers in the country. I think he will affect that Notre Dame running game. Now moving back to Vanderbilt, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even know how to call this game because it's kind of like what Mike said in the last one. It's like my brain wants to say South Carolina is not going to lose this game, but it's hard to bet against Diego Pavia right now.
In a big game against a South Carolina team that's been, I know they're 2-0, but they were a little shaky against Virginia Tech in that first game, which it was the first game of the year. You're allowed that, but they were a little shaky. Vandy looks good. They're, Clark Lee has a pretty mature program there that at this point. I mean, I think South Carolina probably wins, but I really want Vandy to win, and I feel like they have a real shot here.
Yeah. If I had to put money on it, I'd say I think that South Carolina is going to win.
Yes,
but I wouldn't put money.
That's one of the reasons I don't gamble though, because I like to cheer for teams to lose regardless of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing about Vanderbilt that I know from playing them last season and what they've been able to do this season. They do a great job of neutralizing your best players and taking them out of the game. And they make you beat them with the rest of what you got. If Vanderbilt takes South Carolina's top skill players out of the game and limits Sellers' running ability, which I think they will, I think Vanderbilt has the better surrounding weapons as far as that tight end, who's probably one of the best, if not the best tight end in the country, the running backs that they have, because they got a couple, and obviously Diego. So I think it's going to be that'll probably be the game of the night for me as far as what I'm going to watch at 7:30. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Troops in this one over the Cox. Troops over the Cox.
Nice.
To stay consistent with my preseason thoughts and picks and stuff, I think I have to go with South Carolina just because I'm really high on Sellers. I'm really high on Stewart, and if Harbor gets his focus in on the game, he can change the game. There's something about Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt that it's hard to bet against him. But
yeah, I'm going with Vandy. I feel like this is a Diego Pavia special. Lenore Sellers has not progressed as a passer like I thought he was going to from last year to this year, at least so far. So unless Lenore figures out that passing a little bit this week, I think Vandy, it's going to be close, but I think Vandy finds a way. And
let me ask you guys a question.
Comes out of it talking national title.
Do you think Clark Lee is a better coach as today than Beamer?
That's a hard comparison. I think they've both done a really good job, given where their programs were at when they got there.
Yeah, a year ago, I would have said Beamer was the better coach, but right now, I don't know.
I think the fact that it's even a conversation is a testament to what Clark Lee has done at Vanderbilt.
Right.
I think you got to give it to Clark Lee because everybody knew Shane Beamer to be Shane Beamer.
Right.
Yeah. But on the other hand, no one knew. I mean, I knew he was a fiery guy, but I didn't think he would be able to turn a program like this. So I'm about to go Lee on this one.
I just got to see him sustain it.
Yeah.
The one thing I think in the past, every time they had a couple good years, the coach would use it as a launching platform to another school.
Right.
I don't think Lee does that.
No, he seems to really love it at Vandy. He seems very invested.
Hey,
big Matt Campbell
money
vibes.
talks though. Money
does
talks.
True. That's true. But I think I guess I'm saying I think this is the best chance Vandy has to, for the first time that I can remember, have sustained success.
True. And they have been coming on recruiting, but okay, let's just go with what we were talking about here and say Billy Napier lays an egg in just the rest of the season and Florida comes knocking with millions. I mean, millions of dollars does change.
Well, but let's think about that for a second. Vanderbilt is Clark Lee's alma mater, and Florida's going to have the pedigree and probably be easier place to recruit. But they can't outbid Vandy if Vandy really wants to keep it.
I don't know. Florida's got money, brother.
I'd say Vanderbilt's got more money. It's just a question of will they use it.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, I hope Clark Lee stays there long term, just because I think it's good for the sport when coaches do that. I think it was good when Pat Fitzgerald was at Northwestern forever, when he could have had a bunch of other jobs, and Kirk Ferentz at Iowa when he could have had some NFL jobs back in the 2000s. And so I think it's good when you get that kind of continuity. So I hope Clark Lee stays, but yeah, he'll be in demand next year for sure. But there are going to be some other coaches in demand too. And when you look at Florida, if Jed Fish wins 9 games this year at Washington, which I think he's going to do, Jed Fish would crawl over broken glass and fire to be the Florida coach.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I don't think Clark Lee leaves Vanderbilt not without winning something significant first.
Fair.
All right, the last game on the top 25. Number 20 Utah at Wyoming.
I really like Dampier. I think he's going to have a statement game.
Yeah, I like Dampier as well. I like Utah. I was impressed. I've been impressed with how they've played so far. And, Wyoming, Craig Bohl was a great coach, and he did a really good job at Wyoming. Jay Savell has not yet proven to me that he is a Craig Bohl, that he's capable of, at Wyoming, they don't have much of a budget. They don't have any recruiting in their backyard that's very good. You have to be really, really good at evaluating talent, of finding guys who are diamonds in the rough, bringing them in, developing them, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if Jay Savell has proven yet that he can do that. I think that Utah can probably name their score of the year. The Wyoming defense is decent. They're decent for sure. They always are on that side of the ball. But I think Utah's just got way too much for them.
I agree. I think Utah rolls in this one.
I agree.
All right, fellas, that wraps it up for the top 25. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we exit, since they're not in the top 25, Mike, give us what you got in the late game. So
Minnesota plays Cal. Both teams are 2-0. Both teams look really good. Both teams have really good freshman quarterbacks. It's True Frosh, Cal quarterback Jaron Kiave Sangapuatele, which I've been working on saying that name. And I feel like I've got it down now.
I was going to say that was impressive.
And then redshirt Frosh quarterback Drake Lindsey for Minnesota. Cal is, they've played really well. They've been plucky. They ran Oregon State off the field. They look like they have a good defensive front. Justin Wilcox is a good defensive coach, and their defensive line and linebackers are pretty good. I think ultimately, and I am a Minnesota fan, but I think we're going to be better than them on the line of scrimmage a little bit. I think it'll be very close in the first half. We go into halftime, close game, maybe a little behind, maybe a little ahead. And then in the second half, I think Minnesota starts to lean on them. The big thing that scares me about this game is that Minnesota star running back Darius Taylor looks like he's not going to play today.
Oh, that's a big loss.
He got banged up.
I'm a
week.
Taylor fan.
Oh, he's great. He's fantastic. We love him. But they want him ready. We have a bye after this week. So I think they want to give him the full 3 weeks to heal so that he's all the way healed by the time Big Ten play starts in 2 weeks with Rutgers. So I respect Cal, and the Cal fans they're funny on Twitter. They've been aggressive all week.
They got a really good wide receiver you got to watch out for.
Yes, they do have good wide receivers. Cal does. And their top wide receiver. What is his name again? I forgot.
It's on the edge of my brain. I can't remember, but I can picture him.
Yeah, no, me too. But like, I think it's gonna be. I think Cal's gonna score some points. I think it's gonna be a good matchup. But I just think Minnesota's really veteran on the defensive line, and Anthony Smith. I don't think they have an Anthony Smith, and I think eventually he's gonna get loose and get some sacks and put the pressure on Saga Pulatele, and he's also gonna see. Both these quarterbacks are going to see exotic defenses that they haven't seen yet. Yeah. So the question is, which quarterback handles it better and who runs the ball better? And I think even without Darius Taylor, I think we will probably run the ball a little better than they do.
Mike, before we get off here, let me ask you, I need your help on something as far as Minnesota goes. So I admit it's very surface level, but I'm very, very high on your guy, Coy Parrish.
Oh, he's amazing.
And some of my guys that my Michigan friends, they don't understand why I like Coy Parrish, and I have a hard time telling them why I like Coy Parrish. So help me out here. Give me something that I can say to them to explain why Coy Parrish is so special.
The day before National Signing Day, Ryan Day wasn't in Ohio and he wasn't in Florida. He was in Esco, Minnesota 2 years ago because he wanted Coy Parrish that bad. Coy Parrish was the MVP of the high school All-American game. Coy Parrish is the second best safety in the tight end in the Big Ten behind Caleb Downs. He had 5 interceptions last year, including 2 game winners, 2 walk-off interceptions where he ended the game, including against USC when they tried to throw it to a 6'6" guy in the end zone, and Coy jumped over him, jumped over the 6'6" guy.
What game was that? I need to get that clip. What game was that?
I'll send you the GIF.
Yes,
we'll hook up on Twitter. I can send you that GIF. It's amazing. So if you type Coy Parrish into a GIF thing on Twitter, you will get that. You will get him jumping over the guy, the 6'6" guy, and taking it in. So he's special, man. Coy Parrish is really special. Here's what I'll say. He might be even a better college football player when it's all said and done. He might even be better than Antoine Winfield was. Okay. And Antoine Winfield is one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, dude, Coy Parrish.
I've only seen some clips of him, and I'm just like, wow, this guy. And like they were just saying the other day, they're like, you're always talking about this guy, and we don't know anything about him. And I tried to explain it, but I didn't know enough of him to really explain it.
Yeah, and he's got a few catches this year too. He's playing offense as well. Yeah. So like, and he's our punt returner. I mean,
is he going to be a full-time two-way player, or is just going to be
not full-time?
Okay.
He's like our fourth. He's like our 4th or 5th wide receiver, basically.
So he'll be kind of like how we utilized Jabril Peppers back in the day.
Yes, very similar. But Coy returns punts too.
Yeah, well, yeah, Jabril did that too. He played Viper.
Did Jabril return punts? I don't.
He returned punts. He lined up at running back, wide receiver.
Yeah, he was.
And
he
played
was amazing. Yeah.
DB, linebacker, D line.
Yeah. So
Coy, he even threw a pass. I thought like.
And we have pretty good safety depth, so they've been I think tonight you'll see Coy against Cal play more in the nickel slot, where he can be more aggressive and get to the quarterback a little bit. So
is he like a hybrid like corner safety?
He could
when
play
he's
corner.
On defense.
He could play corner. Yeah, they match him up often against the best player they have in pass coverage. So yeah, Coy, he's special, man. He's really special. It's really fun to watch it, and he's proven that you can go to a place like Minnesota and be a big deal. You don't have to go to the Ohio State. You don't have to do that. You can go to your home state school and still get all the attention and be a freshman All-American and win a bunch of games and do all that stuff.
And it's going to line up just right for him to replace Harrison Smith on our Vikings, right?
There you go. Exactly.
Well, guys, unfortunately, we are about out of time. This is a great show. Learned a lot, get a lot of information. You guys want to plug any of your shows you guys got going on?
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcast at We Live for Saturday. That's We Live for Saturday. We cover all the teams in the Big Ten, all 18 Big Ten teams, not just the helmet schools. So we go on depth on everybody, every game, every week, both preview and review. So yeah, please check it out.
What was that again? I'm gonna.
We Live for Saturday. Here, I'll type it in the chat.
All right, I got it.
Yes, there it is. Love it.
Yeah, and for me, you can follow me everywhere on all social media platforms at Kinetic615. On YouTube, Kinetic615 for sports, Kinetic615 plays for gaming, and recently started a channel with my buddy Lichamax over on the Gamer Sideline on YouTube, where we sort of mix gaming and sports together.
All right, and for those of you that are Alabama fans, be sure to tune in after the game. We will have a post-game show coming up right after the Tide get done taking care of business. And as for the three of us, we're going to be signing off. Be sure to tune in next Saturday. We're going to get into a lot more football. There's going to be a bunch of big things happening today. I can't wait to get back with my guys to talk about it.
Conference play next week, baby. That'll be exciting. So today's going to be fun, but next week it gets real.
Yep.
Amen to that. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and roll Tide.
Go Blue.
Sky Yuma, row the boat, go Gophers.
Love it.